Hey everybody, welcome back to Kate's and Trading. It is Monday, January 13th, 2025, and this is the daily ETF walkthrough. Let's see if we can find anything worth buying today. And man, oh man, this market is nuts. It looked like this morning everything that was bullish was down a ton, but then it sort of rallied and kind of closed near highs. So what does that tell you? My God, I don't know. I don't know if this means that we are coming up from a pullback, or if something more sinister and significant is coming and the market's starting to crash. I have no idea, man. I'm just along for the ride. But let's go through these and see if there's anything good out there. So I'm going to run through these ones that were all down today real quick because I usually don't care about those. So ETHU is a no. GDXU is another no. ERY, these are all pointing downwards, so I would never touch them. Generally speaking anyway, I will say something like this is kind of interesting where TechL was down today about 2.25%, but it closed right near the high. So that's actually bullish to me. But being down this low, I would avoid it for now. BITU, same kind of thing. Closes like right at the high. But it's not something I would take a chance on just yet. Cold is in a steep downtrend right now. It's freezing cold. FAZ, another no. No. Just run through these real quick. No. All these no's. Okay. So that's all for those. Now onto the ones that actually had a gain today. EMV has this nice uptrend going on. It's quite extended at this point, so I wouldn't be trying it here. TNA, terrible looking downtrend. Fell below this kind of area where it looked like there was some support here, and then it just crushed below it on Friday. By the way, I was not around on Friday, so I didn't do a video then, but kind of wish I did because there was some good setups for at least buying something for a day and then getting out, but oh well. So I was looking at this at the end of the day. This is SPYU, and I was so close to pulling the trigger on this, but then I was like, you know what? I just can't do it because this downtrend is just too much. It's nice that it closed near the high, good volume. By the way, I spent most of my weekend rewriting an indicator and kind of revising how I'm thinking about trading right now and my strategy, because with a market like this, I don't want to wait forever to make a trade. I'd rather get in, try to make just a tiny gain. I'm talking like 1 or 2%, and sometimes not even, sometimes like a 0.5% gain, because that can add up a lot. And something like this, you know, the odds of it going up at least a little bit the next day, maybe getting into like a 0.5% gain midday, okay, fine, take it. I just didn't feel like taking the chance on it though, because yes, SPYU is doing really well, the S&P 500, but there's a lot of downward pressure on this. So I guess my idea was like, let me find something better. But this one, I mean, if you were to take a chance on this one, couldn't blame you. SOXS. See, this looked good today because it gapped up. It had, 1, 2, 3, count that one as the first one kind of coming up. And then the whole bar was bearish though. It gapped up and then came down the entire day. So that tells me that it looks like SOXL is probably going to start turning up, but you never know. So we'll see tomorrow. KWeb, it's an ignore. LabD, look at this one. This one started pretty low, went way up, came way back down. I wonder what the 5-minute looks like from that one. So it was all really early in the morning, had all of its run then, and then just was down the rest of the day. Not much to say about that. I mean, this is good if you're a day trader. You get in the morning, sell somewhere up here, it's coming back down, and then you're done. Much easier said than done. I would be avoiding this. SQQQ, totally in a downtrend, starting to come back up. I guess kind of a triple bottom thing going on here. It's not perfect, but again, it's another one where it was up high, came down, closed at what looks like some sort of a support area, but it's tough, man. I don't think I'd be touching that either. Yin, not anything to write home about. WebS looks a lot like SQQQ. Nah, I wouldn't be touching it. FAS, this downtrend going on. It's another one where it had a bullish day. My indicator, by the way, the indicator, it's very simple for buying. It's much more complicated for selling. But what it's saying is, okay, what day is it? What did it close at? What's the relative close position? So how high in the bar did it close? And what's the volume ratio? So it had 133% volume. So that basically means 100% volume is as if it closed at the average volume. If I look at my indicator settings here, I have it set up very aggressively. I only want signals if the minimum relative close position, this thing closed at least 65% up in the bar. I want at least 65% of the average volume, which is pretty low. I don't care about any of these requirements for now, at least. I can kind of eyeball the chart and see if it's something that I wanted to do. Like I could say, yeah, I want an EMA uptrend. That'll eliminate that buy point right there because this is a downtrend. So there's all kinds of different things I can set in there. Again, I only care about a small gain, so I'm setting my minimum percent gain to just 1/4%. Then I'm setting a trailing stop to just 1/4%. What that does is my code adds these two up and says, okay, this guy wants a 0.5% gain. Okay, cool. Let the chart play out, and if there's a 0.5% gain, start showing sell signals if necessary for trailing stops and whatnot. And I have a sell signal if a 10% trailing stop is hit. 10% is quite a lot. You'd never want to have it hit that, but it can. But I kind of leave it loose because you have to have room for the stocks to do their thing and ETFs to go up and down. These leveraged ETFs are highly volatile, so they'll go up and down a bunch. And my strategy is I prefer to wait till the close to sell if I have a stop loss, because so many times they'll open low and then come right back up. I'm just the opposite when it comes to selling if I have a gain. If I have a gain intraday, I'm not going to let it evaporate. I'm going to take the money and run. I'm not going to wait. So I get out pretty early. A lot of times it comes back to bite me and I'll get out prematurely and only have a small gain when the ETF just takes off upwards the rest of the day. It happens, but you never lost money taking a gain, so it's okay. I mean, try not to have that happen too often because you do need to try to maximize your profits to some extent, but it doesn't always work out, and sometimes it does. And we have all the moving average stuff as I always have, and the volume averages and stuff, and info table information, live trade information. I added slippage too, so I'm saying 0.5% slippage compared to the price that you bought and sold at. So, excuse me. So I use that for selling. Like if I'm trying to estimate and back test, I'll use that to say, okay, if this thing was sold at $100, you actually sold it for like what, 99.50 or whatever the 0.5% would be, or whatever. And then there's the live trade information. So if I was to fill this in, it would keep track of like how much I gained and lost and whatnot. Anyway, moving on. So FAS is another one that was like SPYU. There's some resistance above it though. I think SPYU is better, but this, okay, but it's things like that in the downtrend, I don't want to really touch it. Boyle was good today until it wasn't. Had a really good day, climbed up a bunch. This is one where if I was in this and it started coming down, I'd be out. In fact, let me just show you this. So this is pretty cool how this is implemented. So I have, let's say I bought this on the 10th. So I'll put in my indicator, Boyle, because that's the guy I bought, supposedly. The 10th, so 1/10/2025, buy price of 64.83, so 64.83. And let's say I put, I don't know, let's say I put $10,000 on it, right? Click OK. Okay, so you can't really see it because it's kind of cut off on the screen, but my indicator is saying, hey, your trailing stop was hit today. So use the trailing stop to figure out what the sell value would be. Sell price 67.68. That's a 2.85% price change. So that's 4.4%. You would have made $439.52 on that trade in a day. Doesn't seem like much. 4.4% of 10,000 is not huge, but you got to consider that the idea is to compound these gains. So if you get this gain today, once your money clears, you have another $400 you can use to invest if you choose to invest your whole account at a time. Generally, that's what I do if I'm feeling really courageous and want to take big risks and want to try to grow my money fast. It's not for everyone. It's a very risky way to do things, but imagine if you had, say, $500,000, right? 500,000. What would that look like if you had that in here? That would give you a $21,976 gain in a day. So yeah, people say it takes money to make money, but you got to start somewhere. So even if you had $1,000 and you put that in, you know, okay, you would have made $43.95. Well, it's $43.95 that you didn't have yesterday. So then the next time you trade, you now have $1,043.95 to trade, and you just keep snowballing it like that. Compounding is the key. It's amazing. Of course, losses can really make things difficult too. So you don't want to take losses if you can help it. They're a part of the stock market, so it is what it is. All right, moving on. MSOX, it has a buy signal, but I would not even think about touching this. If I go logarithmic, yeah, that is an enormous downtrend. Not even something I would consider at all. Tech S, just the opposite of Tech L, kind of was up, came down. I would avoid, although it is interesting how it's starting to come up. Like all of these bullish ETFs, they're starting to come down. So the bearish ones are starting to come up. FNGD, same thing. SBIT I never trade because it's shorting Bitcoin and I just don't feel comfortable with that at all. DRN has a buy signal, but just like MSOX, it's just too down. Like it's just such a nightmarish downtrend that I wouldn't be challenging that right now. ERX. So this one I did buy at the close today. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You know the whole story. But this is the only ETF today that I saw that isn't an uptrend. It has a buy signal. It looks good. It closed at a decent point in the bar. The only thing that kind of gives me pause is that if I look across to the left, I do see some kind of support and resistance going on in this area. So I'm a little bit hesitant about it, but since I'm someone who likes to be active in the market and I don't want to just sit on my hands forever and I want to take action, this one looked like the best bet to me today. Good volume too, it was above average, about 23% above average, so that's fine. So we'll see what happens. And again, I'm not looking for this thing to gain like 20% in the next day or so, but if it continues its upward trajectory, which would be great. The biggest concern I have is for gap downs, although this looks like it behaves pretty well. So the odds of it gapping down don't seem terribly high. There's one here. And generally speaking, I think what I would probably do on a gap down, depending on how deep it is, I know I said I would wait till the close to sell, but on a gap down, if I hit my stop loss on the gap down right at the open, I would probably sell at the open. Just send in an order, just sell it right at the open, just take your loss and move on. But let's hope that doesn't happen. All right, so on to the next, GDXD. Just closed with a doji, and this is, it's not really, it's kind of in no man's land. I wouldn't touch that. ZSL, I did look at this. I've never traded this before. This is shorting silver. It's tough to do, but it looks decent. And I say that, like, take that with a grain of salt because, I mean, you have a gap down here, came back up. Like, it's not the prettiest chart, but outside of VRX is the only other one that's like, okay, I could see the trend line, the EMA ribbon starting to come up. You can see it crawling upwards. You got these little things down here too that show these fast EMA and slow EMA triangles pointing upward. That means it's moving in the right direction. The EMA separation is a little bit lower, so that's not great, but it closed near the high. It's doing okay. I mean, I like to trade just one thing at a time. If I was willing to take a big risk, maybe I would have this one as well. Maybe I would have gotten SPYU and had a few different ones, but I prefer not to do that. By the way, the ERX trade that I made, it's not a lot. I didn't want to go all in on it just in case. I don't trade that all that often either. So I figured, let me just go real easy with this and hope for the best. ETHD, it's down today, gapped up and came down, so I would avoid. The only other thing I wanted to mention is if you look at my flags here, all these different colors. So the way I have them laid out is I have my focus list. These are my focused ETFs. Green ones are my focused bullish ETFs. Red are my focused bearish ETFs. So these are the ones that I trade the most. These are the ones that I have the most comfort trading because I'm familiar with them the most. And then the extended list is it includes all of the ones from my focus list, but then it also includes all these other ones that the light blue is bullish and the pink is bearish. So ERX falls into the bullish, but not one of my favorites or whatever. So that's it, man. Things are starting to shape up a little bit, but again, like I said earlier, I don't know if the way the market's behaving is a sign of worse things to come and we're headed for a bear market. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I've been reading about and looking into where it's like we could be headed for some serious problems, but then on the other side of it, people are like super bullish too, so who knows. But that's it for today, man. If you guys like this content, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and do all that stuff. I'll be back tomorrow with another update, and we'll see how this ERX trade goes. All right, thanks everyone. Until next time, see ya.